It's called Fruity Pebbles. Kind of want to make that a set piece, but yeah, maybe I'm forcing it. Yeah, it's just such a clashing color. Maybe I can, maybe like that. Maybe. Maybe that would, yeah, sure. Maybe. Hold on. Let's arrange it to back. And then back. Yeah. What do you guys think? You think that's like I might need to what's it called? Resize it. What do you guys think? Think it's too much? I kind of imagine this almost like a protection magic placed over the two to like guard it. Kind of what I think it might look like. Well, I'll keep it on there for now. I can always get rid of it later if I find that it's just not working. Alright, so we got these oozes also. Oozes. I think I'm actually going to work with the line of sight real quick. Just to get it out of the way. So if you're wondering how you do line of sight inside of map tools, pretty simple. For this part, I'm just drawing what's called a skybox. It's basically just setting the outer limits so that in case I leave something on the artboard, like the outer edge, they won't be able to see it. This keeps everything nice and clean. That way they also don't just stare off into nothingness for periods at a time. Alright, so right now we're just going to do almost a very quick box in of the play area. And you'll see what I mean here. Okay, so I'm going to make a box there. Obviously, this blue line designates that this is blocked off, like they can't see through this. So we'll clean that up in just a few seconds, though. Right now, we're just making kind of the basic line of sight rules for this place. This right here will block off being able to see this passage, so that was how we're going to make it a secret passage, essentially. That there. You gotta make sure that you cross the lines here, or else it creates like a gap in your vision blocking. Which I actually didn't look closely enough at this one, to be fair. Okay, those two cross. Those two cross, and those cross. So I'm looking for a cross right there to make sure that they get sectioned off correctly. To explain once more. Those are crossed as well. Yeah. I just figured, think about it this way. If you were trying to, if you knew that your enemies, like let's say you had a real reverence for your dead, whoever these people were. And you knew that you were an underground society. Like, you could not... You only had a few members. It wasn't easy to be able to guard these crypts. Like, what would be some of the things that you would use to protect these, to keep people from stealing from the graves or disrupting them or stealing the bodies back? I would think that undead and magical traps would be one of the major things that you would use. You wouldn't really want to use mundane traps, just because if you're trying to visit these things from time to time, you wouldn't want them going off on you on accident. But something that's very obvious, like this magic trap. Undead that wouldn't attack you if you were from a certain, group of people. These are the things that I think of. In the United States, for example, we have a few cemeteries that intern soldiers, and those places are constantly guarded at all hours of the day and night. So I think that there's an analog in this for real life. Once again, we're just making the very basics of line of sight right now. We're going to clean that up later. For now, this is good enough. What is the context of this thing? It's basically a burial chamber of a political group that was ousted from power, and they basically interred their former leaders here. And they're currently enacting rituals to try and communicate with their dead leaders to get advice and conduct stratagems. The adventurers are here because after they clear out the entrance of the tomb of the rubble on their side, they've started to explore this tomb, and people who have went in here haven't come back. So they're trying to discover what's happened. With that in mind, I almost feel like there should be a couple dead bodies here and there. So I might have to do that as well. Okay, so here we made a mistake. What we made a mistake there is we were putting a little bit of the cave there, so they were able to see that. So we're going to have to cut down this a little bit more. There we go. Sometimes the line of sight here is going to be a little inconsistent. But that's okay. This is probably the fastest way to do the line of sight. You could technically do straight lines and just kind of make a polygonal shape that creates all the vision for you. It takes a bit more time. This is just a little bit quicker. Of course, I can always go over this also to make little adjustments. Like, for example, this should block vision right here. So I'm actually going to add a auxiliary piece right here that helps to block additional vision. But there aren't many of those in here. Obviously, this is a very regular looking crypt. So. Alright, so that's in, that's done, that's done, that's done. The tunnel's done, all of that is completed. Alright, so that looks like the basic line of sight. So now all we have to do is the pillars and block line of sight for those. And then after we do that, we're going to clean up these lines so that you can see through everything. Now here, I'm just going to do some really basic vision blocking here. I'm not going to try to get too fancy with it. Not going to make this perfect either. Oops. What was it? Control? No, it's not control. Alright. We'll just go like that. Try to get as close to the center as we can, expand it out. And none of this vision blocking is set in stone. If we feel like we want to move the pillars, we can just erase it and redo it based on how the pillars end up being. But for now, this is what we're going to work with. So I don't know, how do you guys think that the tomb is looking so far? Is it 10 out of 10 would rate again? This is Kane Lynch? How do you put this song in a gritty crime drama game? Boggles the mind. Yeah, I guess you could say that. This is obviously a very straightforward undead. Actually, this isn't really a straightforward, I guess I should say. Because while there is undead here and you're kind of like, okay, it's a bunch of skeletons. Again, the idea of the mimic being there is kind of the enticing treasure chest, you know, that you want to get to and open as quick as you can. But then it's just gonna come up and bite you in the ass, really. And then this one, they'll all kind of converge. Maybe I'll create some sort of thing where they can trigger the trap and it maybe hurts the undead or something. Like maybe I'll make a beneficial terrain in this room. That could actually be a really nice thing. Because if the potential is there for these people to enter the melee, or if they sneak past these, but trigger these and then like everything converges in on them, then that could be really important to the encounter, is creating some sort of beneficial thing that the PCs can use as almost a get out of jail free card. Obviously I wouldn't just give it to them, like they'd maybe have to make a skill check, like maybe they'd do a magical lure, almost like a skill challenge in 4th edition. Like maybe if they did a lure arcana 3 times, then they could activate this trap and use it to their benefit or something. Okay, I think that is every pillar outside of this main room. Conan was that from? I don't remember that shit at all. Weird bug thing attacks them and then zombies start piling in. But the skeletons, how do you plan it? Do you want that party to kill them one by one after opening one tomb? Well, this is really kind of opening options to them. Like, technically this door is closed. If they never come into this room, then they could always just never fight these things. Like, if they elect not to. But, I mean, if they do come in here, then chances are they're probably going to have to fight them. The zombies, there's a really strong chance that they're going to have to fight them, unless... But there is an option to not. Because let's say that they decide... Like, if they make a good perception and notice that these zombies are in here, they may decide to go down this passageway instead. And if they do, then they have access to the secret passage that loops around to this room. In essence, the goals here are to figure out what's killing the adventurers and put a stop to it. And while the undead are things that are probably killing the adventurers, it's much more important that they figure out that these guys are present in the tomb. So the real goals of it are probably to clear out the imp and kill this guy. And then report back. Everything else is kind of, you know, here and there. And even killing is an option. Like, one of the cool things in Next is instead of killing someone, you can knock them out. Like, when you would normally take them down to 0 or less damage, you can choose instead to forgo killing them and knock them out instead. So, I mean, they could technically take him prisoner and take him back, or find out some information on him. Alright, so back to making these pillars. Alright. Save. Let's go ahead and cut off. Now I'm going to do that slight editing that I was talking about. Cut off that section. And we're going to cut off this. We're going to actually keep this one active because the door is there. However, I'm going to have to redraw it somewhat so that you can see the door. So we're going to go ahead and draw a line, put it like that. That way they can see the door on both sides. We're also going to draw a line for this door that blocks line of sight correctly. So, boop. I think I will do that for the other doors as well when I get a chance, but I think I'm going to have to clean up these little sections first. So that's fine as is because it's supposed to be a secret entrance on the other side as well. This is not okay, so we're going to cut that off. I'm going to cut here as well. This is actually kind of badly drawn on this side. Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. PCs will just have to deal with it. Okay, so we're gonna go like that. It was both. It was the Robo theme from Chrono Trigger to like the tune of Never Gonna Give You Up. We technically don't need to make that erasure, but I just want to clean up line of sight a little bit. We're going to clip this line because this isn't the actual doorway and we want to imply that there's a doorway there. Can you please show how the players will see this? If you give me 1 sec. I want to clean up this line of sight first, and then I'll actually be able to drop a token, because I do need to check to see exactly what you're saying, what the line of sight will look like. And that'll tell me what players will see as they enter things and what they won't. Right now I need to make sure that I get rid of these things. Because all the blue lines are what's going to block vision. So like if I have a blue line right here, then obviously it's going to block vision for the door, you know? But the thing is if I have those lines over areas that you're supposed to be able to look through, then that's no good. Okay, we're going to draw a straight line. Oh wait, that's the closed polygon, so we're going to make that one. Draw a door across there. Going to delete that section and draw a polygonal line like that to represent the door. Looks like we're almost done cleaning up line of sight, just a little bit more. I have to be very careful here not to clip off any of the pillar. Now that that's done, I can a little bit more haphazard with it. Okay, let's draw a line straight across here, because that's again supposed to be a door that the PCs need to cross. Alright, so take out these ones. So 1, 2. Alright, we cleared up that, we got all of those taken care of. Alright, it looks pretty good. Looks like line of sight should be set up, so I'm going to save the campaign because there can always be issues with re-putting down line of sight and stuff. But for now we'll do that. Let's go ahead and grab a token, which, as I mentioned before, I do save other people's tokens. Alright, we're going to get a character, and we'll go ahead and toss Acleus in here. Alright, so what Map Tools also allows you to do is it allows you to see what the characters would view. And it allows you to do Fog of War if that is your desire. Okay, so we're going to give Acleus a light source because normally he wouldn't be able to see here. Okay. This is all he can see, is this door coming in. The only reason he can see without his light source is because this thing right here, I'm saying, is like a continual globe of light. It's meant to be a beacon so that people know where they're going into. Okay, so let's give him a light source. And we'll make it, say, a torch, 20 feet. Okay, so he walks up to the door, and then he opens it. When he opens it, on my side, I essentially go to vision blocking, and I go to the door, and I remove this line. I can also do this to kind of accentuate as well that he's opening the door. I can grab the object. Maybe not. Maybe I'll only grab the stone arch. Alright, so I basically grab this and rotate it. And then pull it up. And that would kind of indicate that he opened up the door. So after I remove that vision blocking layer, this is what he can see. They would use, because keep in mind again that this is supposed to get visited by people. So they do want to be able to see where they're going and kind of get an idea that where they're going to. Alright, catch you later, King. But that's what they would see there. They'd explore further in. And once they reach about here, that's what they would see. You'll notice that they can see the door, and they can see a little bit inside of the door, actually. Which I think I have it on daytime, so I need to turn that to night. A problem that I'm having. Okay. Vision, where is it at? Yeah, I accidentally had it on daytime, so they were actually seeing further than he should have been able to. But now it should compensate. Control I. Yeah. So now he moves into this room, and this is what he can see. You'll notice that his light source is now acting correctly. So he can see dim light up to there, and he can see all on the pillars. If I had a monster token here, what's a cool function of this is you can actually put a monster, say, here. And notice how the player can only see part of it. Okay, so they come over here, and now they can see the imp completely. Let's say they wanted to enter this doorway. I might say if they want to open it up more, I would glare, and once again, I'd kind of open it up. And swing the door open. Then I'd go to vision blocking, and I'd remove the line. Now when he updates his vision, he can see all the way inside. And that's what he sees. You'll notice he can't see the cultist yet again. So if he goes further in, now he can see the cultist because his light source is reaching it. But there's still people that are kind of blocked by this pillar. What's really nice about this too is you might go, well, how do you assign if something's on cover or not? Because it needs to see half of it. You'll notice when I go over this, the lines in white are what he can see. So I can go into DM view and it'll be a little easier to see the white lines. Like you can see them. Ugh, I can't move my mouse. I think you can catch them though. And then, you know, if he goes in further, he can explore more. You know, and it keeps Fog of War. Like, even though he's not in this room, he's already explored it, so it kind of saves what he saw. However, things can change. Like, you notice it no longer shows him the imp. Well, if I move the imp as a result of that, like, he has no idea where it went to. Alright, so continuing to check line of sight. We go over here. Notice all the pillars are working correctly. We go over here. He notices that there's a door. We also notice that some of our line of sight is messed up. If you can see, like there's a gap between there and there that we need to fill in. So I'll have to keep that in mind. Now, without removing the door, if you don't want to remove the door, you can always also just remove the line of sight instead, and that's another option that you can use. And that's basically just to show that you did indeed open the door. You can come in here, seize access to all the crypts. Right now the zombies, or the skeletons are hidden. They're on the hidden layer. If you'll check my screen, you can't see them. However, when I take them and I say, grab all of them, change to token layer, now the player can see them. So you can hide things with that. You go forward and down, you know. The Mimic was on the hidden layer as well, which I wanted to do because I'm going to put a normal treasure chest there instead. You can go up, go across, you know. I think you get the idea. It's a really cool effect. Let's say I wanted this to do like a magical effect, like this ruin. I could maybe make fire. Let's say fire was the thing it did. I could make a bunch of fires around this and put them on the hidden layer, and then when they activate it, I can drag them onto the visible layer. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, the whole thing combusts. I'm going to continue to check vision. So I go down here. Vision seems good here. Vision still seems good. You'll notice that it kind of jumps there. That's an unfortunate thing, but I'm not going to fix it. It might even clue the PCs off that maybe they should check something. They can see the little bit of this door that's there, which is good. Once they find the hidden passage, I could remove the vision blocking, but I'll probably keep the vision blocking and just bring them on the other side. You see how that works? Now they went into the secret passage. This is important too, because if there was another guy on the other side, like another party member, he would not see this guy. Vision can be tracked completely independent between characters. Like what this guy sees is not what another character will see. So he moves forward, you know, he sees the other exit to here, he enters this place. Then that's, you know, another way. Notice that the door blocks line of sight as well. Like, if I go there, you can't see that zombie. The pillar blocks the line of sight there. It's pretty cool stuff. Checking once again. Again, just checking to see if there's any inconsistencies in the vision. So far there was just that one, and that's easily fixed. Okay, everything else looks good though. They open up that door. Once they open up that, then he can break through, you know. Notice how I created the line of sight for that as well, the little bump. And that's just because it'll give them the illusion that there could be something on the other side of here, even though there isn't. You know, what you don't show the PCs is far more important than what you do if you're a smart player, you know. But that's how all the vision will work. So I just need to clean up that vision right there, and then this map will be pretty close to done. I'll have to put all the stat blocks, which is going to suck really hard. But after I put the stat blocks, maybe put a few more pieces of interest, like maybe a carpet or something running up the length of that. Maybe some bodies here or there. I mean, this dungeon will be done. Hopefully, like, this wasn't boring or anything. I mean, I don't know. Is this something that you would continue to like to see? Or, the skeletons I'm going to hide, because if you notice how the tombs are crumbled, I'm going to say that basically they broke out, but they're going to return to where they rest when the intruders are dead, which are, you know, the adventurers that have been here before. So they're basically going to go in these tombs, and when the PCs come in, they'll kind of like jump out of their tombs and start attacking them. So that'll be a pretty cool effect. Alright, well, I think it's been, you know, about 4.5 hours now. I think I'm going to be done for the day, at least for my scheduled broadcast. You know, thanks for hanging around. You know, feel free to stop by whenever you want. Feel free to follow. And yeah, just check in, see what's happening. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of what I do on the channel. If you're interested in what the play looks like for D&D Next, I mentioned again that on my highlights video, I have Arbadet cleaning up the slums, which was our first encounter. I'm very sorry that the audio on part 1 is kind of bad for my players. There wasn't really anything I could do to salvage it. I just got to do better sound checks, essentially. Yeah, I'm going to try to be making more maps off stream as well, just because, you know, if I grab players from the stream, then they're obviously going to have a little bit of insider information on some of this stuff. But it's always nice to kind of show off what you can do and what the program can do. And if you feel like DMing yourself, you know, it can be a useful tool. If not for the games in Arbadet, you know, maybe you have your own tabletop gaming community that you're going to set up. And this could be a valid tool, give you ideas, even if you don't use map tools either. Like, these ideas carry over to any type of tabletop. Like, maybe you can't make the vision blocking, but having an idea of what they might see and what they might not see when you create an encounter is important. The idea of lighting, you know, creating branching adventure paths, like multiple ways to hit a situation at the same time. Theming, creating theming for dungeons is one of those things that I think really fails a lot of DMs and dungeons. They create these really nice dungeons, but they don't theme them appropriately. What I mean by that is they don't create a consistency, a certain feeling with a dungeon. I mentioned how they'll have like a tiger with a bunch of undead, with, a bunch of orcs or whatever. Just completely unrelated things that they can't possibly tie together. And that's a big part of it. Like, this is a simple theme with a twist. It's a, like, necromancer's lair type of thing. Like, you basically have this society that's communicating with the dead. There's undead in this crypt, and then we have that kind of monkey wrench with the devils inside of it. Like, they've been making pacts with these devils to protect their dead. But the devils have their own agenda. Sometimes just having a little twist like that can make all the difference in the world. Now, keeping in mind traps, all of these things apply to everything. Appropriate dungeon modeling, like I mentioned, the doors in here should probably have to be stone because they're not going to get maintenanced. Wood would rot. Wood would come into disuse. It would warp. All those types of nice things. These things all carry over. But, as I mentioned, and with some nice music to finish it off, I think I'm done streaming for at least right now. But it's nice to have you inside of the channel. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and anybody else that is currently watching. But we're out of here for today. Enjoy your day.